sweetheart. I'm so happy to see you.
Good to see you. Sorry, I was a bit late. Just some daddy duty and being Sunny Lou, and just it's been a crazy kind of couple weeks trying to get readjusted here. Hopefully, trying to just get the ball rolling again on life. You know what I mean?
Talk to me. Where have you been? I don't know where you've been.
I've just been here, not moving, and it's been starting to wear away at me and the missus, because poor thing was pretty much hospitalized a month before the baby was born.
Right, I remember this.
October, and then the baby, when she was born, was in the intensive care unit for the neonatal unit for a month. She was in there for a month. So
was she preemie? What was going on?
She was 36 weeks. So
wow,
she was a
okay.
little early. But everything was okay, and she got the good magnesium, so she's super, super smart. But and then I had taken off like basically kind of the end of November to the beginning of January from work, about 6 weeks. And then I came back for 2 months, and then COVID hit, and it was like, oh, so we went on like one date since the baby was born, and we haven't like left the house other than like drive to like take out, and it's starting to get to her, I think.
It's that moment where things like everything's fraying. I understand. Yeah. I totally understand.
So we're just trying to keep it together and not stab each other. It's
Is your house big enough? Is it? Are you comfortable? Okay, so the house is big enough, and you have a yard. Are you in a neighborhood where you can walk around?
We are in a nice neighborhood. We can walk around. Okay. We can go to her dad's house up the street that has a beautiful backyard with a pool. Okay. So we've been doing all that stuff, but I mean,
but that's it.
We've been doing that for a couple of months too. So
yeah, so you're like on a track doing that.
It's just tough. It's just tough to break the cycle, and I have a terrible insomnia. You know, I'm up till all hours of the night just talking to ghosts and.
I think you're in excellent company here. Yeah. I think that a lot of the chat is in the same camp. They're just they're either playing with ghosts right now, or zombies, or talking to them, or communing.
Because what I do, obviously, I've booked a few jobs here and there for voice acting. But you know, voice acting doesn't really pay unless you're like consistently on like a show every week, and you have, you know what I mean, like an animated series. It's
or you have 5 commercials running, and then you're
like,
right comfortable, right.
And then you're like, but then, even when you have 5 commercials running, it's like there's going to be a point later in the year when you don't have 5 commercials running, and you're just so it's been good, but it's working in the theme park has been really, because we're on that last like tier over here in California of things that are possibly going to be unlocked. So they put us in the same thing as like stadiums and like giant mass concert gatherings, and we're like, well, you know, we can do it a little differently. And so in the beginning was let's not, but now I need my insurance, and I need, you know what I mean?
Oh, so Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Let's go back to
what do you do in the theme? Why do I not know this at all? I feel
you
like
don't know this?
No, what are you talking about?
So I'm Optimus Prime, and I'm.
Well, I know you're Optimus Prime. I know that. Oh, but you do it in the theme park.
At the theme park at Universal Studios, Hollywood. That's why I got the tattoo.
I know you're Optimus Prime, but I didn't know that it's because you do it in the theme park. Like I somehow didn't understand this.
Yes, and I also I've done a ton of stuff for Universal. I did for all the Harry Potter geeks. I did the Sorting Hat voice for their Nighttime Lights show. I was featured heavily in The Walking Dead. I was if you saw the billboard of the Grinch, that's me under the makeup. You know what I mean? When it's not the Jim Carrey one, obviously. I've done a ton of stuff. So, and I thought like I was exposed to a lot of people.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Hundreds of thousands of people. So.
Oh my God. So, I totally didn't know that you do
based
all
on
of
that
this
one.
live.
I
thought you did it like a voiceover. It didn't occur to me that you go into the park and do this.
I think I've said this before. I know I'm not officially Optimus in like a cartoon or a movie, which is Peter Cullen, and I think Neil Kaplan did it when a couple other, and I know him, and maybe there's like 2 other guys who've done Optimus, but I believe that I've spoken more as Optimus Prime to humans than anyone else. The world.
I bet. Yeah. No, you would win. How long have
I
you
would
been
win.
doing it?
7 years almost, right?
Jesus Christ.
Like I got Employee of the Year back in 2015 for it. Yeah, just stop talking about
Ding! One. Yeah. No, you win. You win. Oh my God. No, You know, when you didn't understand like an element of somebody's life and of somebody's work, like I thought that those were voiceovers that you did. I knew that you did. I thought that they were things you've done in a studio and that run and that, you know,
Oh, cool. No.
I didn't understand that you do this at Universal.
It's super improv. It's more improv than anything.
Fabulous.
And Megatron is more therapeutic because Megatron, you can like yell at people and tell them they're worthless and they're disgusting humans. Is that joke? And then I go, I would have it's been so long. Like we would have caps and be like, you know, some guy would be like, oh, Megatron, you know, you're nothing. You're an Autobot's. The Autobot's going to destroy you. And then I'd be like, this guy'd be with a girl. And I'd be like, really? Do you want to tell her or should I? And she'd be like, you're a girl right here. She was here last week with a different man.
That was so fun.
Megatron did not give a damn.
Are you now? Is there anyone else who you're working with doing it, who's been doing it as long as you are?
Yes, there's a couple. There's a couple of the guys. If you see this invisible cock, it's not. It's actually. I'm like, what's? My God, look at this! It just shows up for him with like he opens his mouth and wills it with his face. Like, my God. There's a guy named Chris Tergliafera who's an amazing voice actor, and a lot of people may know a new hire. We actually got Kellen Goff. I think you know who Kellen is.
I know Kellen Goff. Yeah.
Kellen, we got him about a year and a half ago, well, 2 years now, really. Right when they did some more auditions for the part, and we got him hooked up. Me and Chris have been doing it for 6 years. Chris is he's like Gundam Tanaka and Danganronpa, and he's in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure as Avdol, and he has a bunch of other random great credits too. Really nice guy. And Kellen is, as you know, Overhaul and My Hero, and he's a bunch of stuff. Now he got Kellen is like Thrall and Hearthstone or something. I was like, wow.
Jesus.
Slow down, kid. Your elders are watching.
You're like, thanks so much, dude.
Do some work for me and Jen, please. Thank you.
Right. Come on. Thank you. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Oh my god.
How's things over in New York?
Things over in New York, it's a weird moment. I mean, in general, it's super weird. It's super weird.
My sister lives in Manhattan, and she's been saying it's really weird over there too. So
what neighborhood is she in?
She's right by NYU. I don't know.
Oh, so she's
probably
same. She's in the center. She's around 20 blocks away from me. Okay. So I'm north of her. But I was walking.
This is where people want to live in New York, is where you guys live.
Yes.
I don't know New York at all. Right. I've never been. And I think I would love the city because I love to I want to go outside and I want to see people saying fuck you to each other and then going about their day. I want to see that.
You need to come stay. Come stay. I have room. Come stay. I'm one of the rare New Yorkers who have room. So the three of you come.
We want to go too when it's like a fall season. We see the colors. We're like old. We're like, we want to see the colors and the leaves when we come to Massachusetts.
We would like to drive north and see. We're supposed to go see leaves next week. We haven't.
Are you seeing? You're going to go see leaves and cherry blossoms. Is the cherry blossoms are blossoming soon?
Cherry blossoms are April.
Okay.
It's an April thing, but the leaves turning is now. So we're going to see leaves next week because we have not done leaving yet. But the city's like
we've got the greatest leaves. They turn. You see them. It's incredible. Democrats don't have leaves like this.
No. Only
cans of soup. You pour it on the leaf.
Of course. Oh my God, so awful, so crazy. But yeah, your sister's neighborhood, my neighborhood, you feel it more than in other neighborhoods. It is there's definitely an element of like, did you see that movie Us?
Yeah.
So when the tethers all start coming out, like when they go out and like there are these strange zombies that are just out before like hell all totally breaks loose, but there are these strange things it's like that. It feels there's this like edge of danger all the time, and like this sense of like, oh, we're about to tumble off the abyss, like the apocalypse is about to start.
Everyone's stacked on top of each other out there, so I guess you see more people. In LA it's more spread out, so, and it's not fair because LA County is so big that they're like, well, LA County, I'm like, I'm in LA County and I'm like 45 minutes away from the city, you know what I mean? I'm tucked away now in the hills in the suburbs of Santa Clarita, like in the beautiful San Fernando Valley. It's
delightful, beautiful,
and everything's locked down. And I swear, like, I'm the kind of guy too. I'm an asshole, like me and the wife. You didn't know, right? No, no idea.
No clue. Go on.
Me and the wife will drive by like Chili's, and I'm the guy who wants to like hang my head out the window, like, is it really worth it? Huh? Is it really worth it to eat your $12.99 fucking flank steak out here? Is it really worth it? Is it really fucking worth it? Did you really have to go to Chili's? Did you have to go to Claim Jumper? IHOP? We drive that all the time, and there's like fucking circus tents of people eating outside of Denny's. And I'm like, is it worth it, bro?
No,
is it worth it to go sit in? And it's like 97 degrees, and they're sitting in and I'm not exaggerating, 97 degrees, and they're sitting in a circus tent eating a fucking Grand Slam. And I just
No, that's definitely not worth it.
You couldn't.
But I went out last night. I was out last
Tell
night.
me.
So in New York City, like because everyone needs to go out because people socialize out already. Like
because your homes are as big as like someone's floor too. It's like everything's compacted.
Most people's apartments, yeah, exactly. So you go out. And people obviously aren't eating in restaurants, so everyone's outside. So everything is spilled out into the streets. So a bunch of streets have been completely closed off, and they've like laid out AstroTurf. They've like done plantings. They've built with plywood, whole beautiful restaurant scapes outdoors.
Scaffoldings of just like
it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Like they're all like little outdoor restaurant, like patios that didn't exist on Broadway in the street. And it's all over the place. And some of them are nicer and some of them are less nice, but this is what people are doing right now. And they have all them distanced and everything is separate in there. So last night I went and met a friend down in Soho, this beautiful one, like so far, one of the two prettiest of these outdoor makeshift situations, like I actually should put it up somewhere on my Instagram and my stories. Like they built this beautiful sweeping flower,
like Christmas when they will build something in the street at Christmas time,
But it's gorgeous, made of those materials, but gorgeous. Wonderful. And so all these like chic people are sitting outside with their masks, like waiting with the whole, and you're like, oh my God, it is New York, but it's the weirdest. It's like flipped alternate reality New York. It's so deeply strange. And then once it's after 10 p.m., it's like a ghost town. And like that's when really the zombies come out.
Okay.
When it's just zombies, then it's like weird addicts and homeless and it's just zombies
transients
galore.
And just crazy, strange people.
Where you used to be able to walk the streets at any hour because there were always people everywhere. Now, like you either have to take a car or you have to jump on a city bike to get yourself home. And then it's after 10 o'clock.
Are they pushing here's another note. Are they pushing over there out here? They made a law. It's really confusing about Uber and Lyft and how they're basically the people who work for them are classified as independent contractors, which means that Uber and Lyft and those companies don't have to give them unemployment, don't have to give them guaranteed wages, don't have to give them health benefits. It's a sneaky, nasty way.
Wow.
This is how it's been. And then there was a law passed earlier this year that kind of like it screwed up a little bit of freelancing and freelancing independent contracting work. So it bled into the Uber thing when it said after you do a certain amount, I don't know the number, after you do a certain amount of jobs, either as a freelance writer or if you were a freelance Uber driver, you can't, after a while, you're considered an employee after a certain amount of time. Right. Well, the problem is if you're a freelance writer, you're not really employed by the magazine or the publication that you're writing for. They'll just be like, yeah, you're not hired. Sorry.
Right.
And same with Uber. They're like, oh, well, you did too many rides. So Uber's been pushing really hard this election cycle, pushing these magnificent ads out that make you think, yeah, fuck Prop 22. I'm voting against that. What the hell's wrong with these people taking hard working jobs out of these? And then you see at the bottom, it's like paid for by Uber, DoorDash, and Lyft. Wait a minute. And then you figure out the bill is really, it's going to make people work on like more of an hourly schedule. So they won't be able to set up. It'll force Uber to be like, hey, if you want to work today, you're working 6 a.m. to 11 a.m.
And they tell them that, and that's how that's.
And they tell them that's when you work, and then they go, "You're going to get possibly a guarantee." So Uber's like, "No, we don't want this. It's a bad business model." And the proponents of the thing are like, "No, it's actually good because then if you lose your job, you get unemployment. You'll have a stricter wage." But it's this weird kind of middle ground that a lot of drivers are like. Also, they're like, "Well, I don't want to work necessarily for to 10. I wanted to work 7 at night to 12 when I got off work because it's a second job for some
right.
people.
Right. Well, most people, they do it as a supplement thing between their other appointments. That's the flexibility is why they like it.
Is it still taxi town in New York?
Oh, taxis have been so screwed. I mean, Ubers and Lyft totally, yeah. So they were already undermining taxis. And then the guidelines about what the cleaning practices are now and what the mask wearing practices are so much stricter with Uber and Lyft. And there's so many more assurances.
That makes sense.
I don't think anyone's getting into a yellow cab right now.
And it used to be the other way around because you used to, with a yellow cab, you used to have a license. It was tracked. You were the company and you felt, okay, I'm not getting into some stranger's car who's going to do terrible things to me.
Right. And rightfully so. I mean, absolutely. But no, at this moment, like in this moment, no. I mean, and taxis were empty. There was a time where you wouldn't even see any taxis the early part of the virus, like nothing. With the crisis, it was empty. It was totally empty. The only way you could get a car was an Uber or Lyft, and Ubers and Lyfts are already about 3 times as expensive in New York as they are in LA. But now I would say they have to be 8 times as expensive as they are in LA typically.
Ubers were ridiculously cheap in certain parts of LA. I mean, there was surges at night, obviously when the bars are closed, but I mean, like, I would get a ride just through Burbank from one side of Burbank to the other, you know, which is probably an adequate distance to New York because everything's packed together. $7.
Right.
You know what I mean? $9.42, something, just whatever. When I would get a cab from the airport, because I didn't want to wait for an Uber when I'd fly into Burbank, you know. When I'd fly into Bob Hope.
You'd fly into Bob Hope.
I'd fly into Bob Hope and I'd throw my espresso on the ground as I stepped off the plane and say, it's fucking disgusting. Get me back to Beverly Hills immediately. And so
why am I here? Why?
When I would do that, but I would take a cab because I would still try and support them because they were there and they'd always line up and you could leave immediately. And you're like, cool, let's go. Right. It was like $42 to go to my house
to stay in your neighborhood.
And I was like, all right, and I give the guy $20 too. I was like, this is a $60 ride, but I'm paying for the convenience. And here, you're welcome. You know what I mean?
Right. So nice of you. I know, so crazy. It's the same thing. It's the same. So whenever I do my stints in LA, we generally will get one car. Rob takes the car, and I ended up like figuring out how to just get myself from place to place. So pre-Uber, I used to find friends of mine from college who were out of work actors. And like I would hire them to be my driver for the day and I'd pay them and I'd pay for the gas and they would just drive me to all of my appointments.
That sounds like me when I was like 19. I would just pay in pot. I'd be like, here's some weed. Take me where I need to go. Got 5 on it? Let's roll. Put some $5 in my tank. There's some pot.
Perfect. And then when Uber came in, it was so cheap because I always stay on the west side. And it was so much less expensive than anything else to just be Ubering places. It was just incredible. I loved it. But then if I tried to do it here in New York, it was not cheap. It was comparable, if not more. Yeah, if not more than doing a yellow cab. But now Uber is the only game in town. There are fewer of them and the prices are like jacked. They know that they can.
What's going to happen in X amount of years, Jen, when it's not Uber anymore? What's the next thing going to be? Is it going to be, Giuseppe's going to pick you up in a flying drone? And like,
I hope so. I want Giuseppe.
I want Giuseppe.
I'm at the bank. Where are we going?
I just got my license of flying aviation. Come on, hop on the drone.
What altitude do you like?
You want the rigatoni?
I don't want you in nauseous. Keep
Mascarpone.
I love that.
Giuseppe's drones. Ready to fly you the fuck out of town. All right, sorry. I keep cursing. I don't know. I'm sorry. Is your stream like family? I'm like, I'm just dropping F-bombs on Jen's stream.
F-bomb away. F-bomb, please. Oh my God, please. Yes, please. The thing that really exploded in the city, partly because it's so empty, partly because no one wanted to take a subway, partly because everything else, city bikes. Like they already existed. Like they existed, and some people use them.
Is that the half motorized, half real bike?
Some of them are half motorized. Most of them are not. Most of them are full on bikes.
Physical exertion required.
Bicycles, exertion. If I tell you That has become the mode of transportation. That's what you get on one of those.
Really?
It takes you
That's cool,
everywhere. It's great. It's
those
awesome.
bikes are ugly. I swear.
They're super ugly. They're incredibly ugly.
That's maybe that was part of it. Like no one will fucking steal this if we make this bike look as revolting as possible.
And it weighs like 200 pounds.
Is it really heavy?
Oh, they're really heavy. They're heavy. They're ugly. You wouldn't ever steal it. Like they're gross. The ones that people are using that they really like, that people will steal. The other thing that like exploded, and now you couldn't buy toilet paper and you couldn't buy a folding bike because people started buying folding bikes because those you could take in your elevator with you.
In your
those
subway
you could
train.
You could take them upstairs. You could carry them up the flight of stairs. They're light. They're all this stuff. So like the folding bikes became an amazing New York thing. I've seen those all over.
I don't know how you New Yorkers do it. I think that if I didn't have, maybe it's because I always have like young children when I'm like living like, but especially you have a child, you have a son, and I don't know how you guys do it, and so being so packed in, and you got to get creative out there. So I tip my hat to all you New Yorkers. You guys got to get creative with it.
It's the secret, Josh. This is a secret that people who don't live in New York City don't understand. It is a dream to live in New York City with a kid. Living in New York City with a kid is absolutely the greatest.
I bet.
Because that thing that's happening to you, where you feel so isolated and so crazy when you have a child in your house, and you're like, it's just you with the baby. It happens to so much less a degree when you have a kid in New York City, because you're still out and about and in the swirl with everyone.
That makes sense. You don't have as many options too. You don't have like, so the mountains are 30 minutes away, the beach is over here. You're like, everyone is in New York right now. We're all kind of here.
Anywhere you're going to go, you can go. You could take the baby to the park. You could take the baby to the river. You could take the baby to, there are a million different clubs. There are all these different parents. You could take the baby to the movies. You could take the baby to, and then kids have all these things to do and places to go. I mean, my kid is this obsessive fisherman.
Yes.
So he has his little push scooter. He scoots on his little Zooter scooter. He goes to Central Park. He goes to the river. He, goes to the Hudson River, the East River. He goes down to Battery Park. He has a whole fishing community.
There's a whole routine.
If I go with him, we get on a ferry and we'll take a ferry to Queens or a ferry to Brooklyn, and he meets up with the fishing friends there and fishes there. It's like it's a scene. It's great having kids in New York City. Space is an issue. If you're lucky enough to have space, then you've won the war. But if you don't, but it's unusual to have a lot of space. But it's lucky. So
I think the real estate's probably about the same price, if not probably more expensive than Los Angeles in certain areas too. Because I've heard my sister who lives in Manhattan is like, I think she obviously shares an apartment with some other colleagues. Call them colleagues now, not roommates, because she's older and not older. She's like a couple years younger than me.
Woman with colleagues. I like
she
the colleagues.
rooms with colleagues because she has a PhD. So they're not roommates when you got a fucking master's. All right, they're colleagues. And so she rooms with colleagues, and like I guess they had this 3-bedroom flat or somewhere in Manhattan.
Great apartment in the West Village. It's amazing.
In the West Village, and one of the rooms didn't have a window, and so they were having problems renting it out. So finally, one of the other roommates like, "Look, I'll take the no window. I'll take the room so we can rent the other one out a little bit more, and we'll take it there." But I mean, I've seen some shit in New York. I'm like, man, like bathtubs in the kitchen with the shower curtain, and you're like, hold on, would you like some bagels while I shower in the morning?
My first apartment in New York City, it was a good apartment, but there was no daylight at all. They're literally like the windows looked directly. There maybe 3 feet from a wall, all of the windows in the entire. So you had no idea if it was day, if it was night, what the weather was. You had no clue what anything was. And I lived in that apartment for 4 years. I had no clue when I was getting dressed what the weather was. I had to like look on a phone or hear on the news what the weather was to know.
Don't like none of the windows really open, do they? Or
they did open. They did open, but even then, literally, I was looking at a wall, so I couldn't. There was no beam. There were no sunbeams coming. It was just nothing.
You're a brave
woman. I felt so lucky. It was 600 square feet, which was big, and it had high ceilings, and it had moldings, and it had like beautiful floors. I was like, I had a big closet. I was like, oh my God, I won the real estate lottery. Yeah, I did.
That's how I feel in our house now, that we made it to a really good place, and that we're in a really nice home. And I laugh. I was like, I went from like, having some money in North Hollywood in the slums to being piss poor in Valencia. But hey, I made it I jumped tiers. You know what I mean? I made it to the next tier. We're here. I can see the big houses on the hills with
being the poorest guy in the nice neighborhood is a good thing to be. I like that.
That's where I'm at right now.
I love
and I'm
that.
like, hey, it's okay.
I'm down with that. When did you move there? When did you move to this house?
This December. We left finally. I was in North Hollywood for like Studio City, technically. So I know probably your stomps out there who want to say it was the homeless population, because I live close to the freeway and kind of like a bridge right there. It wasn't as bad as when I got there, but when I was leaving, it was really bad. Like we had a man, I was on the way to a convention one morning at LA Comic-Con, and a man, this man was a young man, and for the sake of the conversation, he had accused me. He looked normal, which was the scary part. Okay. And he had accused me of saying something to him in the store, which I obviously did not. And he like chased me out of the store with a knife, and I like was standing there. Yes. Remember that? And I had like Melissa was pregnant in the car, going to the doctor for like a blood pressure meeting. And I was like, I don't know if I should like have a knife fight with this man before my wife went to the doctor for a blood pressure meeting. So I did the right thing. I just dropped a dime on that motherfucker, and I called the cops, and they never, fucking LAPD didn't do shit. They didn't do anything. They called me 30 minutes later. Oh, we're here. Where are you? I was like, I left, bro. The guy, I said,
I'm having tea with the guy.
I'm not sticking around to get stabbed. I told you where he is. Go look under the freeway. I guarantee you he's over there. Like, look for the trash pile. Like, and so 2 weeks later, I walk into the Starbucks, 9 a.m, and there's a group of, nice hipsters and business people and Hollywood folk, and we're all there. And this dude's raising hell outside, and they end up locking everyone in the Starbucks because he's just throwing signs, and cars are pulling up, and he's throwing things at them. And eventually we had to call the police, and hopefully he got arrested that day. But that was a scary one, because that was like across the street from my house. And I was like, man, this is out of control, and then 2 weeks later he was out. So
we had, how many years? Like 3 or no, maybe it's 4 years ago already. My cousin from Utah had just moved to New York with her like brand
Utah
new from Slovakia husband. So they had just, they're dancers. They've been living in Europe. She was, there. She just moved to New York, and they're here at my house. And I've laid out like this lovely spread. We're having brunch. It's so sweet. I'm so excited. And with that, we hear 3 pops. We hear pop, pop, pop. Wait.
Oh no.
We're like, what? And that's right. And he was outside smoking a cigarette. I forgot. Her husband is downstairs in front of my building, smoking a cigarette, and we're up here having the brunch. The rest of us are, and we hear the 3 pops, and we don't know what.
I witnessed
the hearing sirens, and he literally was there was a shooting right across the street. Like, not that there's a shooting every.
Welcome to America.
There was a shooting. Right. Oh God, it's like you're in New York City. Welcome to New York City. Like he was like he watched like a shooting across this.
Was he disturbed? Like I've never seen such hatred in the streets before. I came here to dance. My life,
you know exactly what he was. He was horrified.
He was horrified.
It's hot. I come to New York. My family, they tell them what happened. I come to New York. It was like really bad. It was really bad. It was so bad. Yeah, it was real. Thankfully, that's the only shooting that's happened across the street. But like, it was like
jarring.
Yes, I know that
we're a little desensitized to it over here as Americans. We're like, oh,
shooting. Sure, it's a shooting. Yeah,
it's too bad. Like, I was like, what? Like, oh, bike accident. Yeah.
Yeah. Wah, wah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Wrong place, wrong time. Okay.
Here's a question for you.
You're gonna ask me. Okay, we're pivoting.
We'll go from shootings to
I love this. Okay.
What are you watching any trashy reality TV right now?
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'll tell you what I'm watching. What are you watching?
Okay, I love this because this is not what I thought we were going to
talk
about.
Are you watching 90 Day Fiancé?
I am obsessively watching 90 Day Fiancé with Rob and Mickey. The three of us are so obsessed with 90 Day Fiancé.
Why you think in Moldova? You listen double, okay? You listen double. I'm Andre. This is my father. Chuck and Charlie.
Why did Ari move to Ethiopia? Why is she having a baby in Ethiopia?
I thought her mother was your sister. I was like, is that Jason? Sheltered Jewish girl who bless her heart. Did you see her arms? There's a history there. Okay.
Yes.
You know what I mean? She has a history of pain displayed on her arm.
Oh, dear God. Good observation. That was very observant of you.
I read her signs like a book. She goes to Ethiopia. To live and deliver her child.
Rich Jewish girl from Princeton, New Jersey, with like upwardly mobile parents, whatever.
Yes.
She goes on like a Corps mission or something. Yeah. She goes on like a Peace Corps mission or something to Ethiopia, falls madly in love with this guy.
He had dreadlocks then, right?
Right. He was a dreadlocked dancer with like a
ripped body, like great body.
ripped.
Binyan.
Yeah. Binyam. Yeah. Binny. He's out being Binny.
I have a voice like this.
He's very sweet and very gentle.
Give me 2 weeks, sorry. 2 weeks.
But no, Ari not used to how this in Ethiopia. Ari not like
that's 90 Day the other way, right? Isn't that what it's called?
We love it. Yes, that's 90 Day. We loved 90 Day Fiancé and 90 Day the other way. That I feel like every couple in 90 Day the other way is yet another example of American clueless imperialism and embarrassing. It is such a terrible representation of Americans. Every story is
so true.
Clueless, spoiled,
scumbag American.
Clueless, spoiled, imperialist American shows up in foreign country and assumes that everything will be exactly the way it is at home.
I'm not changing for shit. What about the woman who
in Jordan? The one in Jordan? I can't.
Her husband's gonna get killed.
Yes.
Like they're gonna like he's like, they'll cut off my hands, babe. Yes. You don't understand. Like,
yes.
And she's like, I don't give a shit.
You tell your parents I'm gonna be who I wanna be.
He's like, you have to wear the hood, please for me. He's like this cuter Borat, you know what I mean? He's a more handsome Borat. And did you see his flat? His flat was nice in Jordan. He had a nice house. He set her up with his parents live in the fucking shack. And this guy's putting her up in this beautiful
all
apartment.
This money to make sure that she's somewhere comfortable. I know, but meanwhile,
she is literally a Detroit thirst trap or Chicago,
and then she lives in Florida or Atlanta, something, whatever. It's like it never occurred to her that she's like trying to marry a fundamentalist Muslim in Jordan, like.
Yes.
Like you go to
It would be the same thing if you married a Mormon man in Zion. You know what I mean? If you were in Utah and they're like, hey, you're going to be wife number 3. She's like, no. You're like, yes, actually.
Right. Yes, that's how it is. That's how
it is over here.
This is right. You are coming to this culture and this is, so yes, we're watching this obsessively and we love it. And we're watching Darcy and Stacey.
Okay.
Do you watch Darcy and Stacey? Do you think
my wife?
We love
we grew up watching. We are old school, so we saw Darcy and who was her first boyfriend, the guy with the J from Amsterdam.
Yes, we loved him.
He was great, Jesse. And then we watched her with Tom. Tom was a terrible man. He was an absolute terrible sleazy British man. We gained a little weight, Darcy. Have you? I smoked my cigarettes and my arm.
But I was like, okay, does she have a friend who works for the network that they keep on featuring her? Or is she just so fascinating to like the
trashy enough
public?
That people watch her it's hate watch. It's hate
watch.
They love
Darcy. They love her. They hate her.
Her sister jumped on the train too. And they're like, oh, you have a twin? Even better. Get her ass on.
And they are adults and they still look exactly alike. And when one gets lip filler, the other gets lip filler. And when one gets blonde
in the guest room of her sister's house, right? With her daughters.
They live in the same house.
Yeah.
And Stacey has 2 kids as well, same age.
Oh, you never see them.
They're just not on camera. Yeah, they chose not to put those kids on camera. But it is the craziest show. It's so bizarre. These two women, and they're like, their father spoils them and pays for everything, and they're in their mid-40s, but they're looking for love, and they're looking for
all these foreign men and
Eastern European bodybuilders is what they like.
Slavic men.
Yes.
They like
philandering Slavs.
Philandering Slavs is who they're after. They want these womanizing Italian playboys. I need a band
called Philandering Slavs. We should start a punk band, Philandering Slavs. That's it. Oh my God, we need it. Yeah, this is all they like.
Or the immoral Moldovans will be the immoral Moldovans. And to go back to your scumbag American, the guy who makes everyone look so fucking bad is Paul.
Paul. Yeah.
Hey, you want to come see the sewage reclamation facility? Check this out. This is where the shit gets recycled. And look, it's a supermarket. Never had this in Brazil, did you? She's like, Paul's such an idiot. We have supermarkets in Brazil. This fucking moron put me in a one single wide trailer in Kentucky and wants me to like praise him because the oven is 5 feet from where our child sleeps. Like,
it's right. No, it's,
what do you do with your
mortifying.
TLC money, bro? How come everyone else in TLC has a new, even Annie and the fat guy with the hair plugs, they have a new, you know what I mean? David.
They managed to,
Annie. They managed, he was living in an office of a storage unit and managed to get an apartment.
Got himself somewhere. Paul can't pull it together. Paul keeps going back to rural Brazil. He just keeps going back because they can't pay for anything.
And he has it's like on his record, he has like terrorist threats because he burned down his own house or something.
Right. And he harassed, arson, harassment. There's a restraining order between him and his ex. I love that we're watching the same terrible reality shows, Josh. Of course we are.
We can talk about this for hours.
Oh my God, I could do this. I could do this forever.
TLC has hit the gold mine with this one. They have like literally this one show spun off 10 different shows. From the family Chantel, Pedro.
I haven't watched
What you say to me? Fighting at her brother River to Rebecca and Zied. Remember Rebecca and Zied?
Yes.
Okay. Here's a funny story.
Go.
I did Chucky last Halloween for Universal Studios, and it was like an insult comic, and it was like the puppet would sit in the balcony and just kind of, it used to be more PG-13 edgy. In today's society was more just PG, like, hey, you look stupid, get out of here, you know what I mean, stuff like that. Welcome to the park, okay. But this one guy one night, and it was last year, and we were religiously watching this, came in this super tight too small leather jacket, and he was big and he had long hair, and I was like, oh look, it's Zied from 90 Day Fiance. And there's a crowd of maybe like 102 people, just lose their shit. 2 women lost their shit, and I was like, you know who I'm talking about. I don't care if none of you got the joke. The fact that 2 of you women understood who I was.
All you needed. We're 2. Exactly.
I'm gonna be right back. I have to show you something.
You're killing me. Okay. Oh my God, how fun! I wasn't thinking I'd talk reality TV. So many unexpected surprises this Friday night. I'll tell you guys. Let me see this. Zied. He was one of the nicer ones. Yes. Le Cri. Oh my God. We need more memes. Ness, are you enjoying this? Are you going to start watching these terrible shows now? You can watch it instead of killing zombies. You can watch Darcy and Stacy.
I also don't have cable at all, so
you can pull it up on your computer.
Yeah, I'd rather not,
Theater Geek has a Big Brother blog. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you know what? It's so funny. I was never that into terrible reality TV, like not my thing. And then Rob always, like my husband, had a secret taste for terrible reality TV. And with the COVID crisis, it's become the family watch event. Like those terrible TLC shows are what we watch every time. Who's here? Hello.
This is our Ewok friend. This is Eddie, the Ewok. He's here.
Eddie. Oh,
okay,
hi, Eddie.
Wifey's amazing at finding these things. The first thing, these are magnets for our fridge.
You're killing me. What?
We have this one that says, so much beautiful. It's Zied. Okay. It's Zied. So much beautiful, Rebecca.
So much beautiful.
And the second one is Pedro. What you say?
Yes.
What you say? Oh, I gotta get it.
Telling me.
What you say?
Hysterical.
And then the best one is Chantel. This is her favorite. Bitch ass, slut ass, whore ass, bitch ass, slut ass. Bitch ass, slut ass, whore.
Where did you find these?
I think she got these on Etsy, and they have like everyone. If you want everyone, they have a magnet for everybody.
I've got to go on Etsy and get for Rob and Mickey. Like, these are their Hanukkah presents. They're going to lose their minds. They'll lose their minds. They'll be in heaven. Oh my God. Guys, don't tell anyone I'm getting this for Rob and Mickey. They're going to lose their shit. This is hysterical. Very good tip. Thank you, Josh. I love this. Have you always been a reality TV person, or is this just since COVID struck that you like went in deep?
I always watched. You know what I liked watching? Back in the day, I watched Flavor of Love a lot, and I watched Rock of Love with Bret Michaels. I loved the Bret Michaels one because that one was like, you know what I mean?
I know that one.
Was really funny. You know that one. You know that one.
Yes.
What is it? The Real World?
The Real World Challenge. I watched that back in the day. But we're a different crowd. I used to watch like Road Rules.
Yeah.
When they would just put a bunch of people in a Winnebago and kind of make them drive around America and
Road Rules.
Think about if they told a cast to do that. They're like, really? Where's my hotel? So where are we staying in the hotel? We watched Double Shot of Love with Vinny, and we watch all the trash.
I don't remember that one.
Double Shot of Love with is a newer one with Vinny and Pauly D from the Jersey Shore.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I loved them. I did watch Jersey Shore. That show I loved. It was ridiculous and amazing.
Stop,
and yeah.
Ryan. Stop. Who would have thought too that the two the biggest party girls, Snooki would have been, she's like the one that turned out the best out of all of them. She's got the 3
it appears
kids.
That way.
She's happily married. She has a nice home out. They all live in those cold, giant like mansion neighborhoods. You know what I mean?
They're McMansions. They're in like they're like in McMansions, mini mansions. Yeah, of course. That's where they all like. That's where they all live.
Say what you want to say, whore. Whore.
I love those girls.
What are you girls gonna say, whore? Danny, sweetheart. We have no shame.
Danny,
my wife has
sweetheart.
all of the Jersey Shore collections. Like we have them on like Blu-ray. And
you're killing me.
Oh yeah.
How long have you and she? Wait, I was gonna say, how long have you and she been together? Is she an East Coaster?
No, but she was a reality TV guru, and her ex was just worked all the time. She was I'd just sit at home and watch TV. You know what I mean? So then when she met a dashing statesman like myself,
like yourself,
she
whisked her out of that living room and into yours.
Brought her into the
screen.
I was like, leave this place of reality and come over here to the computer screen and join my online games. And
it's very romantic.
Dawes is in here. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no problem. Go ahead. Hi,
Dawes. I see you in the chat, and she plays. Dawes actually gifted me Animal Crossing, and she plays. That's the most game Lady Prime Melissa's played in years. So thank you very much for doing that. She's been playing a lot of Animal
Very
Crossing.
nice, Dawes. So
we haven't
sweet.
gotten the Biden house stick yet to put in there. Did you know that? Like, there's a there's a Biden Harris campaign happening online in Animal Crossing, and you can buy their.
I love that. Everyone get that.
Get it.
Everyone get that. Oh, now, how much do you play? You're like, I know, I can't even.
I laughed when he got eaten alive at that NBC. I was like, this
Savannah
is the forum. This is the forum you got to put him in every time. He was, oh, you're so cute. But I'm like, you're getting fucking owned, Dawn.
That's going to play really well with the suburban women that he's trying to win over right now.
Like,
they're going to
you're
love
so
that.
cute.
Yeah.
Like, no, that ain't gonna work.
Yeah, thank you. Good job.
It was horrible. And everyone's like, Joe looked like a Mr. Rogers neighborhood. I was like, I love Mr.
Please,
Rogers.
We love, right. Who doesn't love Mr. Rogers?
We watch Daniel Tiger every day. So we love him.
Oh my gosh. You were the first of all of the VAs to be on Twitch. When did you get on Twitch? How did you find Twitch? How did it start with you? With all the, I mean, of all of us.
Twitch is Twitch. First of all, everyone who's in the chat right now, I love you guys. You guys are amazing. All my loyalists, you guys who tune into the streams, thank you guys so much.
Yay! Yay!
Twitch is a fickle bitch. In terms of, you know what I mean? It's a fickle bitch in terms of when I started streaming, it was about 2.5, 3 years ago, probably right when Overwatch came out. The technology was literally in that point. What went from it was extremely difficult to stream. It was hard to get the program. It was hard to get it to run. Your computer wasn't strong enough. So the fact that you could actually do it was like a badge of honor. You know what I mean? If you even figured out how to make it run and it looked okay, you're like, hey, you're halfway there, you know? I started streaming Overwatch a lot, and then people would come and watch.
And now you were already playing. So before
playing.
You were playing, and you're playing enough that you heard about this place to play, and you were like, "Oh shit, I'll just do it."
Twitch used to be called this place called Justin.tv, and I was on the site when it was Justin TV. And Justin TV, thank you. You know what I mean? You know what's up. Justin TV got a bad rap because I'm not sure. I'm like, how dark? Okay, let's just put this.
Go for it.
Justin TV was built around 24/7, like live streaming. So a lot of Justin TV's popularity came from people who would stream their life 24/7. It would just be like a camera in their apartment, and they would stream. One dude ended up taking his own life live on stream, so it gave him a lot of bad press. So in the beginning, it was like, oh no. But there were other channels that I liked on Justin TV. There was like a Star Trek channel and a Mystery Science Theater 3000 channel that were completely bootlegged, but it would be users who would run old Star Trek episodes all day on this channel. And they would run cartoons all day on another channel. They would run Japanese professional wrestling on another one. So it started to like, okay. And I remember trying to figure out how to run games, and it was really convoluted. You needed certain programs like XSplit, and like, I don't even think OBS was out back then. But there were some very strange programs, and there was definitely a technical wall. Once you got over the wall, a couple years, Justin.tv sold itself and became Twitch. There was another company known as Curse that was making add-ons for World of Warcraft that would allow you, when you played World of Warcraft, to see like graphs of how much damage people were doing in real time. And Twitch, being the smart people they were, bought that company and then turned their app into the Twitch app. So like all this happened. So I was very much like already involved in what's happening with Twitch. Overwatch comes out, and I started playing, and I didn't get big numbers at all because no one knew it was me. I didn't have any followers. And then some really nice YouTubers called Outfoxed and another guy called Overwatch Plays HD scoured my stream, made a compilation, and made some big videos on YouTube, and it got a ton of traction. I think they got a couple million hits each. And so that drew people to, that's how I got like the 16,000 followers I have, because I gained like 12,000 followers over the first 4 months of the game being released, because I was consistently was one of the only people who made it to the top page of Reddit, because like, here's the main voice actor of Roadhog playing Overwatch, you know?
Totally.
And it was really cool. So as time went on, it was tough for Lady Prime, Melissa, in the beginning. She was like, why are you spending all this time playing games with strangers online? Why don't you spend time with me? And I was like, no, it's kind of like, it's this other thing I'm trying to do. And it was hard to explain to somebody who's not really into video games why I'm like here for 3 hours when I got off work with people. And she hears me laughing. She's like, you're having such a good fucking time. And then you get out of here and you're like, yeah, what's up?
Oh, hey, yeah.
Right? You know?
Nice. Right.
Yeah, I'm just kind of tired. Like, oh, well, you weren't tired 5 minutes ago and you got a triple kill. So what the hell? You know? Like,
thanks. So. Great.
And then I met up with Geek and Sundry, and I started just integrating and doing more. And then more and more people started doing the Twitch, and I've been doing it ever since. And I got affiliated, and I should have gotten partner years ago, but I screwed up. And when I was because your popularity is always right when you kind of start, you know what I mean? And then you plateau. And when I was really, there was not a program back then like there is now. Like there's no
reason to be a partner.
Yes.
There's literally, Josh, there's no reason.
There's no reason, right?
I'm telling you.
Other than affiliate, other than getting a sub, there's no.
Literally, there is no reason. You want a check mark. That's it. A check mark would be great, but other than a check mark, like there's no reason. You get all the same perks. You get all the same benefits.
When I started, there was no even affiliate program. Right. So it was partner or nothing. So I remember when the affiliate, I immediately got affiliate because they're like, oh yeah, you get affiliate. And I was like, cool, that's all I need, you know? And I got kind of bummed out on the partner because I sent them my stats one month. They're like, oh, sorry, you got declined. And I was like, what do you mean? They're like, well, you didn't hit the minimum viewers. I'm like, yeah, but it was like, I had like a stream with like 4,000 people. And yeah, I had like 2 streams with like 24, and that like jacked the number down. But and like my average ended up being like 65 or something. Like it needs to be 75. And they wrote me some paragraph, and I was like, fuck this. So I never like tried to do it again. I got kind of bitter and butthurt over it, you know. So
the other problem with being a partner means that all of your content has to be on, all your live content has to be on Twitch. So like if you were doing
really?
if you were doing an Instagram signing, if you were doing a Streamily signing, you wouldn't be allowed to do that on Instagram.
Interesting.
Or on Facebook Live or anywhere else.
Really?
That's part of the contract that you sign if you're a partner. So if you're someone who is a celebrity like yourself, it does not behoove you to be a partner on Twitch.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I've had a great run, and what I liked about my audience is that I wasn't consistent, and I stream at 2 a.m. sometimes, and I'm playing Dark Souls, so I'm all over the place. So anyone who's stuck with me this far, I have nothing but love for. You know what I mean? Absolutely. So thank you guys for coming to Jen's stream today and waiting for me while we read Rocky Horror, and thanks for being patient.
The Rocky Horror reading was great. Well, so I'm trying to do things on Twitch that no one's doing on Twitch. So that's been sort of, it's really fun, and it's been really great. And I feel like I know what will happen, but I don't know how long it's going to take, because like when I look for categories, the categories don't exist yet. So that's
a good point. Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
So I'm saying, okay, this is really interesting. This is
they need a game show category, and I'm trying to do a weekly. I wanted to do like a weekly review show, and it was like me sitting at a desk, almost like Saturday Night Live's Weekend Update.
That'd be fabulous if you did Weekend Updates.
And it was like a weekly show, and I take clips. I've been thinking about this for a while. I just need to get my ass in gear. I have a lot of ideas.
Josh, do a Weekend Update.
That'd be cool, right?
God, it'd be great, and you could have special guests deliver news.
Yeah, it would be quick. I would only want it to be like 30 minutes, like very small, and it would be like an hour show. I'd have like a 15-minute pre-roll loading into the live. The live would be in the middle, and there'd be 15-minute outro. Done. And I think
do it.
The only thing that's holding me back is now that we have the baby, I choose to be with the baby more than I do to be with this, and that's okay. It's going to happen because she's not going to be a baby.
She's not going to be a baby for very long. This is fleeting, and you know that.
So I want to take advantage of the time that I can, and it's tough too because I have a wife that I love very much too, and I want to make sure that Melly Mel gets her loving and attention. And it's tough because we're in this quarantine, and as a performer, you know what this is like. As an artist, especially somebody like us who thrives on the live scene, like that is like my bread and butter was live.
Yes. No, and you do even more live than I realized. I mean, think about how much live you were doing.
I didn't realize how I was like, am I really this depressed? Because I just get these amazing experiences that happen that keep me happy every day. And then when I don't have that anymore, I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
But I feel that right now. And voice acting is already, it's a very you never really get to, unless it's a big game like Overwatch or something, you don't really get to see your effect of what the work does unless you play the game. But even then you can't, until you're in front of 20,000 people at the Anaheim Convention Center. You're like, I didn't really know that this was that big of a deal to you.
Oh my God!
Great. So you don't get to see the fruits of your labor sometimes. So it's kind of unrewarding to do. Because what do you get? You get a humble brag, a Twitter. Here I am in the studio. I just want to announce my new project came out. You hate it when other people do. You're like, I'm so happy for
It's not the same kind of gratification. It is definitely not. But, and I mean, it's so funny. I was just looking through pictures of conventions and was like, because I was looking, you and I are often next to each other when we go do conventions.
Having a good old time.
We're always, I know. And you always have the music playing. You always have you always have the tunes. When did you start doing that? I love that. There's always killer rock music coming from Josh.
I realized the first couple conventions I did, I was like hoarse afterwards. And I was like, why is my voice gone? Oh, it's because you've been doing Roadhog for 6 hours. So, and my character isn't one that's like, hey, how's it going? It's like, no, it's really fucking, in a large area, you have to amplify it. I got tired. I was like, I'm tired of this weird silence and people just kind of coming up. I was like, let's play some music. And no one else was doing it. And I was like, if I'm going to play this, I'm going to play what I want to hear. I wouldn't play filthy rap songs. I mean, every once in a while, a filthy rap song would get in there. You know what I mean? And I'd be like, see a child walking by, I'd be like, turn
it.
Sorry. We're going to go with some nice synth wave here. No, so that's fine. But I had such a great time. And honestly, part of me, my worries about COVID go away when I think about what we used to do and how we would meet, I would shake 3,000 people's hands a day and be walking around a convention hall with like 30,000 people, and we were okay. You know what I mean?
Fine. I
And they called it
never
that.
got con flu. I
got it once or twice. I got the con crud, but I was like, hey, once or twice out of like 30 cons is going on a plane cross country isn't that bad, you know? And I was like, maybe it was the soup I ate. Angelique snuck me into the American Airlines ambassador suite. Remember when they have? I think we were in Texas.
I had my status.
Yeah, see?
Oh, status
and
galore,
so she snuck us into the American Airlines, and I had some of that. I was like, oh, they have soup in here. Let me have some soup. Soup. And I was like horribly sick for like a week and a half. I was like, it was the fucking airline soup.
It's the soup.
The soup.
I had seen years ago, it was like this thing going around. There would have been a video of Naomi Campbell, this crazy video of Naomi Campbell saying, I love to fly. Flying's my life. I'm always in the air. I love being between here and there. I love being, and in like some fabulous, silk pajamas, something.
Of course.
And this giant Vuitton bag. And you go, okay. And she goes, will I get the chocolate? I won't get the chocolate. I'll decide. I'll see ya. And she gets to her first row seat, her first class seat. And she opens her giant bag and she pulls out a huge thing of Clorox wipes. And I mean, now mind you, this is pre-COVID. So this was the craziest thing you ever saw in your life.
Wet ones.
Take it out. And she put on rubber gloves that she pulled out of her bag. And she would immaculatize every inch of the seat, of the air vent, of the window, of the handles, of the counter, of the thing. And people would be looking at her in first class like she's a lunatic, and she'd offer them wipes, but like no one took. Then when she was done with this, she had her own personal seat covers that she would cover the seat with. Then she would sit down. She had her own blanket, not their blanket. She put a mask on.
Wow.
And this is how she always flew.
Smart.
And before I started doing conventions, I saw this and I said, well, I don't know, I'm going to go that far, but I'm going to bring Clorox wipes and I'll do a little wipe down. And I was used to people looking at me like I was crazy. And I always had emergency.
I was just about to say that. I was like, always, I was on the way back. I'm always drinking the emergency, and you got to piss like a racehorse about 2 hours into the flight.
Emergency at the convention, emergency on the plane. I had hand sanitizer that every, 30 people I would use. And it was like ridiculous. And I would do this thing to the seats, and I never got con crud, I think because some combo, but
I was always requesting part of my con thing. I was like, I'd always give me the sanitizer, and almost after every person, I was already really good about like washing my hands and sanitizing. I was always so anal about that.
I hugged everyone. I know everyone.
I know.
I mean, when I think about all the hugs and on the and the telling me things in my ears, like it's all stuff that
whispering. And then I would leave that, and then I would leave that environment and then go work at a theme park for 5 days straight with people from all around the world. You know what I mean? And I used to be an asshole. Like people would come up wearing masks, and I'd be like, "Oh, are you a doctor?"
Right.
You know something we don't around here.
Oh my God.
Like, you dick, you asshole, how dare you? Those poor people were trying to just stay safe, and we didn't know. And you were like, when's the surgery?
Arrogant Americans. Arrogant, stupid. I know. Oh my God. The worst. Maisie, I can't wait to give you a hug. I can't wait. Mwah. She in the chat, she just said it.
Absolutely.
It's ridiculous. Oh my God. And I miss it. I miss the being on planes. I miss the going to all the places. I miss being the lunatic. Like I've said
seeing the country. I saw parts of the country I never would have seen before. I realized that they love me in Tennessee, that like I'm huge in the South, and I'm like, I love it. All right. I got to go to Katsucon and DC, and me and Johnny Cruz and Keith. And we're at the fucking Lincoln Memorial 2 years ago in the middle of the night. No one's there. And the Martin Luther King Memorial. And I'm like, dude, these are amazing memories. I got to like eat on a riverboat in Tennessee with like Bill Watts and the voice of Goofy and Max. And, you know what I mean? And the funny story, I'm in the van with the voice of Max and Goofy from a Goofy movie, and the driver's backing up like really close to this kind of cliff, and the voice actor of Max is like, whoa, 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 and he turns into Max at the end like, whoa, dude, and then Goofy goes, oh gosh, Max, we're fucked up. And I heard it. It was an amazing story, and me and my wife will always talk.
It's
It was a healing
priceless.
procedure too. Like when our dog passed away, like me and Melissa went out to Raleigh, and the town like really healed us, and the people we met people who like made necklaces with our dog's face on it to give to us at the con. Like there were so many amazing people out there. So
I know,
Bill Farmer,
right?
Excuse me, I said Bill Hicks.
Bill
Bill Farmer. Thank you, Chad.
Yeah, that's so funny. I'm hearing
Gamer
about
from Tennessee can confirm we effing love you, Josh. That's what I'm talking about. See, and I want to head back. I want to go back to the Smoky Mountains because we really felt at home out there. Not just because we're white, okay, but because the environment was so good. Like all the food was from like a farm a couple blocks down, and the weather was nice. It had a little breeze, but it was a little humid. It was a little warm, and there was green everywhere and mountains. I miss Tennessee.
Where in Memphis? Where were you in Tennessee?
We were in Knoxville.
Oh, nice.
Knoxville.
God.
Knoxville was really nice out there. That's where, and like if you're a pro wrestling fan, there's a big history of, your husband would know, because
I know, and we're
Smoky
like
Mountain
the wrestling bound.
Exactly was out there. So
wrestling.
I love when I got to pick your husband's brain a little bit. I got to compliment him on his amazing talent.
We had a hilarious time prepping for that. We had like a couple of years of going to like church basements and VFW halls, and like it was like completely. And I pregnant. Did I tell you about the one? Yeah,
you're pregnant watching like men just
running. No, I had to run because there was a bulldozer coming through the space. It was the ultra-violent kind.
CZW, yes.
And I had been in Philadelphia and like outside of Philadelphia, and I'm on the floor, and like suddenly something happens, and one of the organizers is like, now, and they're like, they take me out of there because a bulldozer's coming through
to pick up the fluorescent tubes and everything.
Everybody is folding their chairs and running with their folded chairs in the hall because one of the wrestlers is driving a bulldozer to get the other wrestler in the hall. Like crazy shit. Like it was completely
hardcore.
Yeah. No, they were no joke. Have you always loved wrestling? Has that always been a favorite thing of yours?
Always. No one in my family liked wrestling. It was just me. And it's one of those things when it's like you either love it or you don't. And the first time I ever watched wrestling, I must have been 8 or 9 years old, and my mom goes, "Well, it's not real." Like immediately just shattered the illusion. It's not
right.
real.
You're like, why, mom?
And she's like, "Well, they tell him who's going to win." And I was like, "Oh, well, that's why he was so mad, because they told him backstage he was going to lose." And she was like, and I was like, "Yeah, I don't care. I love it that much."
Right.
And bless mom's heart, I was 9, and then when she was maybe a couple years later, she saw me. This is when you could like remember the preview channel on like cable, and you would like go to the preview channel. It would show you what was on pay-per-view that night, and I would like scroll all the channels, and so it was like WrestleMania 10 was on pay-per-view. We're on WrestleMania like 36, by the way.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So WrestleMania 10, I go, "Oh, Mom," and kid, "Can I get this? Can I get this?" And you always hear no. It's like, "Mom, can I get WrestleMania?" And she was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Really? It's like $30. Is that okay?" She's like, "Yeah, Sunday."
Sure,
put it on. I guess, and she let me get it, and I taped it like on VHS and everything while it was going on. And ever since then, shout out to FSCW with the GalaxyCon, because I was their I've been a champion, Toxic Championship.
I love it. Now,
we got to get you commentating next time we're at one of these.
I would in 1 second. It would
be amazing. You and me would be great.
Oh my God. How did Mike find out that you're a commentator for these? It's so great.
It was Leva Bates, the blue
I love her. Yeah,
she's amazing, great. And she's a great wrestler in AEW right now. The librarian. She hosted my panel and was like, and right after I said, "Hey, is there a wrestling ring next door?" And she goes, "Yeah, I'm actually one of the wrestlers. You want to come check it out?" And I was like, "Yeah." So like, I immediately go over. And I'm like, "Hey, let me take a bump." Like, and they're like, "Oh, sure thing, buddy." They'll never turn down anyone who wants to throw themselves around the ring. And so they're like, "Sure thing. You want to get thrown around?" "Absolutely." And so they gave me like a 10-minute crash course on like how to fall. And I was like, "Yeah, I know how to do this. I've watched for many years, and I wrestled and did like backyard wrestling that we used to film. So I know how to kind of do a little something." They're like, "Okay." So the first night, they're like, we have a Junkrat and a Roadhog wrestler, actually. Do you want to like be their manager and walk them down to the ring? And I was like, of course. So first night I come out and I'm like, I'm super excited. And I'm like, yeah. And I cut some promo and I'm like, oh, and the crowd goes crazy. And we do it. And like, we just did this stupid thing when like I was going to grab the ropes and distract the referee while my team did something, you know what I mean? And I was hooked ever since that happened. I was like, so any con we ever did, I'd always show up for like a year. I would show up backstage at the wrestling, but you guys need me? And they're like, sure, you want to come out? Didn't ask for a dime, didn't ask for any money. It was like,
you just wanted to do it.
I just wanted to do it. And they're like, and then I did I was in a match with a guy named Darby Allin, who's an amazing performer in AEW. And originally it was just supposed to be, okay, you're going to come in and pretend to hit him with this, then turn around, he's going to kick you kind of like in your shoulder and your chin, then you fall, and that'll be it. And I was like, oh, this is my big spot. I haven't done anything this physical. And then that turned into, well, I'm actually going to stand on the top rope and fall to the outside, and you're going to catch me with this other guy. And I was like, yeah, sure. Like, whoa. I got a concussion. I got a concussion doing that.
Oh my
move.
God.
Somebody fell on my head, and I knocked myself out in the middle of the match. So I'm like, my arms and legs aren't working, and I'm like, ugh. So when I did that, I did that, and I went back to the hospital or hotel, and I passed out. And I was like, I think I have a concussion. So I had to go to the hospital. Didn't bitch, didn't complain, nothing. Didn't tell Broder, you fucking, I'm gonna sue you. Your son was like, no, it's my own fault. You know, I was like, and so in the wrestling business, they were like, you're in, kid, because that was my true test. They're like, you made it, you got hurt, and you came back,
and you handled it like a champ.
You handled it like a man. Welcome to the business, kid. And I was like,
you're a wrestler now.
You're a wrestler, literally. And so the next con, he was like, we fired our commentator guy. I said, okay. He goes, you want to do it? No. No. Yes. Get me in. I commentated the whole thing myself the first night, and then the rest was kind of history. That was like a year or 2 years ago, and we've been doing it ever since. So it was really
amazing. That is amazing and hysterical and great. I love how this is the thing. The cons were like on the road, and so there are these weird windows of opportunity to get through these other crazy.
I got bullied by William Zabka, who's Johnny from Cobra Kai.
Oh my God.
In a good way, like in a funny way, like, because we did the circuit with him about, I think you were on one or two of them. We did it like about 2 years ago. And this is right when Cobra Kai was still on YouTube Red, and there wasn't a season 2 yet. So it wasn't as popular as it is now. So he was there, and I got to talk to him a little bit, and just, I've been able to schmooze just stare at William Shatner backstage. Like,
I got to hang out with Alice Cooper at one of those. And that was amazing.
I got to meet him too. Yes. I got a picture with him too. Like,
he and we had an amazing conversation about how much sugar there was in a soda. We had this thing where we were talking about how many grams of sugar. He's like, when you buy Coke, so imagine the bags. Imagine that there are like 4 or 5, 38 bags like that in your soda. So I'm like, Alice Cooper assumes that I buy Coke. Oh my God.
Or our trip with Harvey with the wink. You know what I mean? We were with the wink, dude. That was one of my great memories.
Oh my God. That was so great.
What city were we in? Was
that crazy one?
Was that Raleigh?
Was that Louisville? That was Louisville.
Was it Louisville?
That was
Kansas City? Something weird?
No, it wasn't Kansas City. I think it was Louisville.
Okay.
I think it was Louisville. Oh my God.
I think it was, because that was like 2 years ago, and I didn't do this past year's Louisville because Sunny was being born, my daughter, and it was and I was literally like, I wonder if I can do this weekend. And they're like, yeah, just let us know. And then the doctor's like, yeah, she's probably going to be 36 weeks, probably won't be able to do that. And that was suck, because that was Christmas, and that was some extra spending money, and then you know what I mean. And then COVID happened after that, and I was like, man, can a man catch a break?
Bam. Oh my God, not a break. Okay,
and a tan. I'm so pasty, dude. I'm so pale.
All of us. I know. I'm like pale. I know everything. I'm like,
someone tell the emperor to turn the lights on in here.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Okay, wait, hold on 1 second. I've got questions for you. And then hold on one sec. Wait, so I gotta text my kid as well. Hold on. Yes. You know what? I'm going to do this.
Text the child.
Wait, I'm going to call. Wait, let me call the child. The child is out fishing and it's dark out now. So I'm like, dude, child. Okay, let me tell him he's on stream. Guys, we're calling Mickey to tell him he's got to be home because it's late. And he's calling. Hi, I'm still on stream. Hi, I'm still.
I've got a really nice striper on right now.
Amazing. Okay, catch the striper and then you got to come right home, okay?
Keeper. Honestly, it might be a keeper.
Bring it home. I love it. I love it. Okay, bring the striper home. We'll eat it for dinner. Okay.
Love that kid.
He's got a
Love
striper.
That kid.
The stripers are
Mom,
running.
I got a striper like right now. I gotta go.
He's got to go. He's very busy. He's very busy. Okay, we got questions. That was what I wanted to ask you before. Hold on. Da-da-da. Now let me get the questions for you. Where are they? Done. Stop. Go back. Where? Sorry, Josh. I can't even find anything. There we go. And now, here we go. There we go. I'm going to put on my glasses. Okay.
Okay.
We have from White Cloud C, favorite roadie quote.
Favorite Roadhog line. I want to say Angela gave me the greatest out with this. She's like, it varies day by day. But
yes, good out. Yeah, I love that. I love that.
I like, when he's like taking candy from a baby.
I love that one.
Such a weirdo.
Did you get cast like quickly? Did you have a lot of callbacks?
No.
You're casting just a
Mine took 6 months.
You're joking.
No, I did the audition. And I knew what it was for because I was smart. This is a good story, kids. Okay.
So
don't ever give up on your dreams because you know what Big Daddy did to book this. I was working. I left work on my lunch break and drove home, borrowed my roommate's microphone, plugged it in, and recorded this in 90-degree weather and was sweating and gave it my all. Thought about it all day, and and then when I did it, I remember like it just felt right. When I did it, I was like, that was really good. Probably the best audition I've ever done up to this point. Sent it off. And then I sent another copy with a little bit of post-processing on there, a little bit of reverb, and I kind of added just a couple little things, right? 6 months pass, and I get a call from my agent. And she's like, hey, remember that thing you did for Blizzard? And I'm like, no. And she's like, oh, no. She's like, no, that thing. I was like, oh, that thing? And she's like, yeah, they want to bring you in because it was called Prometheus. It wasn't called Overwatch.
Right. I was Prometheus.
Because we were the originals.
Yes.
We were both at least part of the original casting of the game.
Right.
Because they just want to make sure that your voice is really that low that you didn't do anything to alter it. And I said, well, I'm pretty sure I didn't do anything. You sent them the right file, right? And they're like, no, we sent them the wrong file. What do you mean? We sent them the last file you sent us. I'm like, that has a little bit of, oh God,
Oh,
they're
no.
well, can you come close to it? And they're like, send us your original right now. Do you have it? I was like, yes. So I sent it over the original. It was the exact same take, but without the post-processing. It wasn't that different.
Oh, good.
And that gave me a lot more. I was like, okay, I might be able to wing this.
Holy crap.
And so my agent told me, she's like, okay, they're going to give you a chance, but I'm telling you now, if they don't like it, they're going to just recast you and do something else. But you're getting a shot, so don't fuck it up. Good luck. Bye.
Oh my God.
Went in, and me and Andrea hit it off. We had a really great talk. Felt really comfortable, and I just gave it my all in that session. And I think I did 2 initial sessions for Roadhog, 2 4-hour sessions. And they were about a month apart.
Yeah.
The first one I did, I felt like some of the lines are still in the game. And then the second one was more calling out specifics that they needed for combat and stuff like that. And I was still smoking cigarettes when I was doing that. So I remember I left in the middle of like the session to have my break, and I had a cigarette, and I was outside thinking, I was like, I don't think I can do this and smoke anymore.
Wow.
And then my grandma passed away that past December, and I made the choice the following year. I was like, I'm done. And I got kind of sick. I got like the cold or something in November, and I was doing the Grinch, and you weren't allowed to smoke and all the prosthetics because you would like set your face on. I'm sorry, God. All right. See that? Like, you would set your face on fire so I stopped smoking, and that was how we got it.
Wow.
And then it came out on my birthday. On my birthday, the game came out May 24th. I was like, this is cool. All right. You know what I mean? It was turning 31 and it came out. It was pretty cool.
My first session was on my birthday. I have a whole crazy story too, but I'll tell you that another time because we only have one more question. And I think we only have you for another couple of minutes.
Yes.
1 second. Hold on. I'm going to get the other question.
I love you. I know. I love you.
Okay. Oh, okay. Garlic bread. Garlic Bread Ben is asking, have you ever seen the super sad viral fan comic about Roadhog losing his daughter in the war?
Yes, I have. And I showed it to Michael Chu in a DM back when Michael was still with the company. And is it the one? I'm thinking it's the one referencing. It's just a couple comics. It's a strip of like a comic, and it's Roadhog growing up with his daughter, and he's really happy. And then like it's just like one, you see like the war or whatever, and then like the next frame is him like empty, like she's not holding, like they're holding hands, and the next frame is like she's not holding his hand anymore. And then she had a backpack that had a little piggy logo on it, and so then you see on the back of his back he has his gun and it has a little piggy logo on it, just like she did. It was such a touching, it was one of the most touching short comic strips I've ever seen. It was a fan drawn, but it was so touching. And I showed it to Michael Chu, and you know, well, I have my own theories on story and where the game's headed, but he was definitely like, wow, that's pretty cool. So I showed it to him. Pretty intense, right? And then you know, and then later I had a daughter, so you know, now I'm a girl dad and I have a special spot.
Beautiful. I know. Dad. Oh my God. Okay, go enjoy the girl. Thank you for coming and hanging out.
Thank you, Jen. Sorry it was so late. Love you. Thanks for hanging out with me.
Sweetheart, I have to tell you, like, thank you for giving me a crazy opportunity to have to think of something to do, like, in the very last second. And it wound up being so much fun that we're saying that I'm going to have to do a full Rocky Horror reading.
Yes.
Because we have
and we
several
need to have a
events.
full, let's do another 90 Day Fiance catch up.
Oh my God. Okay. We'll watch more of the season, and then we can sit and do like a gossip session where we just talk about 90 Day and about
I'm going to give you, or I'll give you like 2 minutes on my weekly review, and you can be like, here's the rundown of this week, what happened. Okay.
Yes. Oh my God. Oh, I want in. And maybe Mickey will join me to do this because he would love to join me doing this because he's unbelievable and he does other voices.
Bring him on.
Game on. We're going to do it.
Miss Rocket Queen, you are amazing. Love you too,
I miss you. I miss
hugs.
you. I know. I want to hug you. Give the baby a kiss for me. Give the missus a kiss for me. I'll see you in LA. I'll be there in a few months. I'll be seeing you out there.
And you know what? The minute when you guys do come out here, if everything is finally like, I have a feeling, hopefully in the next couple of months, we're gonna, because Orlando is open, Disney World and stuff, and I know the governor sent out kind of like a task force this week to go like look at it, because let's just be honest, there's like a lot of people's jobs in both Anaheim and in Universal, probably 100,000 people between the two of them who depend on the theme park for work, whether you're a character or you're selling sodas or you're a manager, you know.
For sure.
So it's a big area of our industry in our town that needs to be opened. And you know, if everyone could be smart and protest in the streets and wear their masks, and we didn't really see a big super spread from that, then by that same logic, I really hope that everyone can be smart, and with a little bit of knockdown attendance, we can have everyone wearing masks and be in the park. And somebody said this to me, and I didn't really think of this. Think when it does open, think about how happy everyone who's in there is going to be that you're in there. It's going to be, and that gives me like, okay, we're going to be happy. Like, I'm fucking here. Let's have fun again. Like, so I'm ready for that. So
me too. Me too. Oh, I look forward to that part.
Look forward to. Okay, Eddie, say goodbye.
Bye, Eddie. Mwah. Bye, Eddie. Family, everyone, mwah, thank you for coming. Happy Friday night. Have a great weekend. If you have questions for Bird Mom for Monday, it's always Monday at 5. And if you have something that you want to ask or talk about, you know to send it in the Discord to Ness at ProNessNess, the family Discord, or you can DM me on Instagram. Mwah. Good Shabbos. Happy Friday. Happy weekend. Josh, I'm so happy to see you. Thank you.
Have a wonderful one. Have a wonderful day.
Have a good one. Bye. Thank you, Ness. Ness, thank you for everything as always. Mwah.